One of the most common questions that runners ask is, how long does it take to train for a marathon?
The answer is it depends on where you're starting.
So today we're breaking down realistic timelines for beginners, intermediate, and experienced athletes looking to take on their marathon this season. The biggest mistake that a lot of people make is only looking at the training plan when they're thinking about this. So, most people would say it only takes 12 to 20 weeks to train for a marathon because that's what the plans say when you download them, right? But the real question here is not how long is the plan, but how ready are you to take on the plan?
Yeah. And what is your fitness base, right? Are you literally starting from zero? No wrong answers. But if you are, that is going to be a longer runway than someone who's already running 15, 20 miles a week. It just is, right? Because we don't ever want to ramp you up too much too soon.
Yeah. So let's break down the different levels for each runner.
First up, beginner runners, right? We are a new runner. We haven't done a ton of racing. Realistically, we're being real, 6 to 12 months. If you're new to running, you have to focus on building consistency first. So your goal before you even get to marathon training is getting up to running 3 to 4 days a week. That's a big deal. If you're starting at zero or you've never really run a ton before, that is a big change. 2, getting comfortable with running 15 to 25 miles a week. That might sound like a crazy amount. You do that over time. It's not all at once, right? And I love the continuous run of being able to run 60 to 90 minutes continuously. If you're planning on a run walk, that's fine. It can be that way too. But we want you in movement for 60 to 90 minutes and you are in control of that pace and effort. Rushing into a marathon plan, it often leads to injury, burnout, or honestly, just a really horrible race day because you're going to ramp up too soon. You're going to feel really out of control. You're not going to be motivated. You might get through it, but you're going to hate it so much. You're not going to want to do it again, in which case that's not great for you or the sport of running, right? You truly need, before you even get to marathon type of training, you need 3 to 6 months of just building consistency. And then after that, after you get to that 3 to 4 days a week of running and 15 to 25 miles a week of running, then you can progress into a 16 to 20 week marathon specific plan where you're going to get more volume, probably more kind of intensity and color, and of course, get you up and down and ready to race day. One note that I think is particularly important for beginners that I kind of hear over and over when it comes to beginners, they don't really want to take those cutback weeks, or they try to kind of blow through them because they're like, well, I got to stack and stack and stack. But what you really do want to always be following some type of a plan that has a build and then a cut. So a traditional one would be 2 weeks up, building 10 to 15% volume, and then on the third week, you're cutting by 25% and then going back to where you left off so that you have this gradual 2 up, 1 down, or 3 up, 1 down week on week approach that's going to allow for appropriate adaptations. Remember that fitness only actualizes through the recovery phase. If you don't take those cutback weeks, you're gonna hurt yourself. So we need those built in even during the 6 to 12 months leading in.
Okay, so 6 to 12 months for a beginner runner. What about an intermediate runner? For our intermediate runners, we're looking at 4 to 6 months of training time. Now, when we say intermediate runners, we're talking about you're already running regularly. You've hit the...
You identify as a runner.
Yeah. You've hit the 3 to 4 days a week. You're already well past your 15 to 25 miles a week. And you can comfortably complete a 10K or even a half marathon at this point. And so that's your running history. These folks are usually the ones that are shifting from just trying to finish a race to trying to finish with some sort of goal or to better their time. So for our intermediate runners, you really need a dedicated 16 to 20 week marathon build after those 4 to 6 months of conditioning.
And that will really, again, help set you up to have that appropriate base. You can get away with so much when you're talking about shorter racing, like 5K, 10K, even half marathon to a degree. When you're looking at a marathon intensity, you really can only peak about twice a year, every 5 to 6 months. Even pros do that. I mean, like the Sarah Halls of the world are truly the exception, but most pros will really only set themselves up to run and race at 100%. They might run a race, but not race it 100% about every 5 to 6 months. It's a different nut to crack. All right, last, experienced runners. You identify very much of a runner. I would say you're doing very consistent training year round. You've been through this rodeo a few times. You know how to go up, you know how to go down. You've raced, you reverse tapered, you've built a base. We're looking at 3 to 5 months. This should not be a surprise for you because you already know, we said 12 to 20 weeks, and it's going to be that same amount of time. You already in this stage know that you are always consistently kind of maintaining mileage, always having long runs, getting into those double digits. I know there's a lot of science out there that says high 30s, low 40s a week, especially for very efficient runners. That's always going to be an appropriate base to be able to start, some more experienced plans. What you're going to need if you're this experienced runner, anywhere from 12 to 20 weeks of marathon specific training.
And that's building off of what you already have. So there's really kind of nothing extra. Yep. That's the advantage of keeping that fitness year round.
So let's talk about some signs that you're ready to start marathon training. First up, you've been consistently running for 2 to 3 months. That's a great base. If you're doing 3 to 4 days a week for 2 to 3 months, chances are you are starting to kind of find that flow.
Yeah, this one's kind of obvious. You have no current injuries that are major. Little aches and pains are able to be addressed, but no major injuries launching into a marathon training block.
Next up is that you're comfortable on your long runs doing 8 to 10 miles. Like at any given time, you could go out for 9 miles and feel really, really good.
We want to make sure that your weekly routine feels sustainable. So you have a training schedule that you're locked in on and it works with your life.
And it includes strength training.
Right?
And this is a big one, that you're genuinely excited about the challenge rather than dreading it. I've raced both ways. I've raced super, super hungry, and there have been a couple races there that I have said yes to, and then I just kind of muscled my way through, and it was horrible. The race itself, whatever, but like the training and the months leading up to, I freaking hated it. So, I did it and I gritted my teeth, but it probably would have been smarter for me to genuinely wait until I was actually excited about tackling that challenge.
So how should you be thinking about this? We want to make sure that you build the engine before you start the marathon-specific training work.
And the truth of the matter is that most people need much longer than they think. Not because marathon training itself is longer. It's not. We already said it's 12 to 20 weeks, right? But because building the foundation takes time, which is very helpful because for a lot of these bigger races, honestly, you have to sign up 9 to 12 months out so you can back out these timelines fairly easily. The fastest route to a successful marathon is rarely the fastest training time itself, but we promise it's worth the extra time on the front end.